I have Ryan Taylor with me today. He's the Senior Vice President of TitleOne. Ryan, thanks for joining me today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Of course, man. So, Ryan, obviously, you guys have a pretty big event coming up here soon. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, it's definitely creeping up on us. We're less than a month away from our first TitleOne Tip-Off Classic here in Idaho Falls, and it's been an event that we've been brainstorming on for several years now, and finally fun to see it kind of come to fruition this year. So at TitleOne, like we're a title and escrow company, based in Idaho, although we now have operations in a few of our surrounding states in Montana and Washington and Oregon. And one of the big things with us as a company is we try to put together what we call signature events, which are opportunities for us to raise money for local nonprofits and try to give back to our community. And so in different markets, we do annual golf tournaments or cornhole tournaments and events like those. And this was kind of the first year that where we thought about, hey, how do we involve maybe a little bit different demographic than what we're accustomed to? And, we ran with this idea of bringing together high school basketball teams from across our footprint and allowing them to kind of choose some nonprofits where we can give the proceeds back to. And so we're really excited about this one.
That is so cool. I think a lot of people are excited about it. I think a big reason, too, is just the fact that this hasn't really happened before, especially in this area, like at the Mountain America Center. So just talk to us a little bit about how this came about, how you guys got this to happen with all these schools and then also at the Mountain America Center.
Yeah, it's a good question. So, a couple of our goals when putting this together is, we wanted to create an event that was unlike any other, right? Like obviously there are a variety of high school basketball tournaments in the area that you can choose to play in as a program or as a school. And we really wanted to differentiate ourselves from, some of those other tournaments. And while there's great tournaments that you can attend, we wanted to kind of take this one to the next level. And by, one of the things in doing that is like, well, where, what venue could we play in that would meet that, kind of meet that standard. And while we certainly could play it at play this event at a local high school and it would be great, like we really wanted to find a venue that would, really help support our mission of creating the best high school basketball tournament in the state. And, the Mountain America Center, we floated that idea as a leadership team. And after several meetings and with the Mountain America Center staff, like it was fun to see that it was going to be able to, come to fruition, and we were going to be able to make it happen there. And so, I think it'll be one where not a lot of high school kids get the opportunity to play in an arena like the Mountain America Center. I think some of these teams that have aspirations to playing in the state tournament and in the Ford Center, like this will give them kind of a little bit of a sneak peek on what that looks like in playing in a venue like that. And so that was really important for us. And then, the other piece to it for us too was like, how can we get representation from really across the whole state of Idaho in this first event for us? And, we've gotten a little bit of feedback like, oh, I wish we had a few more local teams, and, we'd love to have more local teams too. The challenge we run into with that is so many of the local teams play each other, several times already during the regular season. And generally speaking, when you play in a tournament, you don't want to play somebody on your schedule already. So, we feel like we have pretty good representation from across the state on both the girls and the boys bracket. And yeah, looking forward to hosting these 16 schools.
That's great. Thank you for sharing that. And tell us a little bit about kind of more like you mentioned with the selection process, because there will be 16 teams total. And yeah, it's just interesting because you guys obviously want to have representation from across the state. So just tell us how you guys picked out each of those 16 teams.
Yeah, it's a good question. And honestly, it was a little bit different this year than probably in years moving forward. We really did want to have representation from across the footprint that TitleOne serves. So that one was important for us. And, and two, like trying to find some teams that don't normally play each other during the regular season, right, is also an important piece for us. This year in particular, like a lot of times tournament schedules or high school basketball teams have their schedules set for a year or two in advance. We put this one together, kind of started working on this one back in April. There were a handful of schools that we had contact with that are like, hey, we'd love to be in this event. Can we get in next year? But this year we're already committed to another tournament, which is totally fine, right? We got off to a little bit of a later start than we would have liked to. So, we definitely had communication and contact with many more schools than the 16 that we have, and just trying to figure out like the best representation and whose schedules that it worked with as well. So I think the tricky part will be moving forward. We do have quite a few schools that have expressed their interest in being in the event next year, but we also expect that the event we've created this year, that the teams that are currently playing in it are going to want to return as well. So I think it'll be a good problem to have, and potentially in the years to come, we will look to expand the number of teams as well.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And you also mentioned earlier just the fact that you guys are a big part of this. Obviously it's playing basketball, it's getting the community out there, but also raising funds. Tell us a little bit more about just the efforts to raise funds and where they'll go, things like that.
Yeah, that's a great question. So what we have tasked each team in doing is we have asked all 16 teams to choose a nonprofit of their choice that they would like to essentially play on behalf of. So our goal in putting this tournament together is, not to make money as a company or anything like that, but really how do we make an impact to our local communities across the state? And so these 16 teams have all chosen 16 nonprofits, as you can imagine, playing in the Mountain America Center, being the venue that it is. It's there's certainly costs associated with that, and we've been happy to partner with a variety of sponsors from the area to help cover some of those costs. And our goal will be then to raise money through ticket sales and extra sponsorship, to where at the end of the tournament, those 16 teams that we have that chose those 16 nonprofits, we will be able to divvy up the proceeds of the tournament to all 16 of those nonprofits. And the goal is that if a team from Sandpoint has chosen their nonprofit local to Sandpoint, that that team will get to return to Sandpoint and deliver a check essentially to the nonprofit that they chose. And so I think it's a fun opportunity to kind of combine an atmosphere for high school students, but also give them a purpose of being able to give back around the holidays to that nonprofit that they chose. So we did not give any guidelines on the nonprofits that were chosen, and we kind of just finalizing those lists this week. We do have all 16 of those nonprofits chosen, and I think it will be a fun opportunity for these kids to be able to present a check to that nonprofit that they chose.
That's great. And to clarify, is it 16 separate nonprofits? Like what different nonprofit for each team?
Correct. Yes. Yeah, so each team, and a big part of that is because many teams did choose a nonprofit that is local to them, right? Mm-hmm. Whether it's Hillcrest choosing a local Eastern Idaho nonprofit, or Bora choosing a nonprofit in Boise, whatever that looks like. So yeah, 16 different nonprofits.
That's amazing. And with these checks that you were talking about that the teams will be able to take back to these nonprofit organizations, will each team be able to take a check back, or will it just go to the winning team? Like, talk about the distribution of the funds.
Yeah, we floated the idea of, the further you advance in the tournament, potentially those proceeds growing, to the winning team. And we ultimately opted against going that direction and really wanted this to be one where it's like, hey, we want all the nonprofits to be beneficiaries of this tournament. And so we will do, 16 equal shares, I suppose you could call it, a distribution. So all 16 teams will receive the same amount. That's great.
Okay. So, obviously, the main event of this is the tournament, right? All the teams competing against each other, but you guys have some other things going on, one of which I think one of the bigger things that caught my attention is the fact that Lexi and Lacey Hull will be in attendance. Tell us a little bit about them coming in, what they'll be doing.
Yeah, we're definitely excited about that component as well. As a company, this last year we have partnered with a few athletes from across Lacey and Lexi, but in addition to that, some athletes for some of our colleges and universities across Idaho and Washington, and really we've kind of coined them as our culture captains as companies. So we've partnered with some of these athletes for some, potential NIL deals for them and their universities. And in addition to that, like we've been able to partner with Lacey and Lexi Hull on this particular event and a few other things with the company. And so on Friday, during the day, Lacey and Lexi are actually going to spend some time with the teams and talk through, kind of leadership in sports on, personal branding, and do some Q&As with all the student athletes at the Mountain America Center. So the teams that play in the afternoon will go through a session with Lacey and Lexi in the morning, and then in the afternoon we will flip-flop, and those teams that played in the morning will spend some time with Lacey and Lexi in the afternoon. During that day, they're going to do, a couple different autograph sessions on the concourse for fans and for kids that are in attendance. And, again, like as we try to differentiate ourselves from other tournaments in the area or in the state, like we feel like this is a fun one too, to pour back into the kids, to give them, an opportunity to learn from some great mentors, as well as, being there for the competition. So.
That's great. And Lexi, just to clarify for listeners, she is significant because she has played for the Indiana Fever in the WNBA, correct?
Yep, that's correct. So she plays for the Indiana Fever in the WNBA. Obviously, a very popular team with the Caitlin Clark connection, and she had a terrific year this year for the Fever as well. And she's we're excited to have her attend. Awesome.
So, Ryan, if you are making a quick pitch to the community, to the surrounding, people that are able to attend and everything, why should they come out and see this tournament and attend?
Yeah, it's great question. I think, one thing is, as living in eastern Idaho in December, the weather can be not the most enjoyable at times, and I feel like this gives us 3 days of nonstop basketball. It gives our community an opportunity to come out to catch some basketball, catch some teams from across the entire state. To have every game in the Mountain America Center, we have 8 games per day in there, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, for a total of 24 games. When you buy a ticket, your ticket is good for the entire day, or we are selling 3-day passes. So I think it's an opportunity to come support, some of the local teams, come support, the vision of the tournament, but also understanding that every ticket sold, like 100% of those proceeds are going directly to these nonprofits that will make a huge impact across our state.
There you go. So just give us one last rundown, Ryan, of when the tournament is, where it is, and how much it costs.
Yeah, so our tournament will be December 11th, 12th, and 13th. It's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday. All games will be at the Mountain America Center, starting at 9:30 a.m. each day with the final nightcap at 8 p.m. So games every hour and a half throughout the day, all 3 days. It's a true bracket style tournament. So there will be a champion on the boys side and on the girls side. Each team will play one game each day for a total of 3 games. We'll have a lot of fun halftime entertainment, a lot of fun activities going on in the arena, in the concourse, with some special guests that we had talked about before. Ticket prices vary depending on, we have general admission tickets, we have courtside tickets, we have the opportunity to buy some suite tickets, as well as 3-day passes. Our contract with the Mountain America Center, all ticket sales go through Ticketmaster.com, so you can go on there and check out the different pricing options for the tournament. In addition to that, if you want to check out the TitleOne Tip-Off Classic Instagram page, you can find all the details of the tournament, the brackets, game times, and all tournament information right there. So we're excited to have everyone come out.
You guys are partnering with SVI Media too, aren't you?
Correct. That's a good reminder. So SBI Media is a company that does a tremendous job over in Star Valley, Wyoming, in broadcasting high school sports across the state of Wyoming, and we were able to partner with them. They're going to call and live stream every game of the tournament, and they were able to come to an agreement with East Idaho News as well. So those games will actually be streamed live on East Idaho News. They'll have exclusive access to all of the games. So for those that are not in the area or out of town, or you can't make it to every game, those games will be available to watch live on SVI Media and East Idaho News.
Great. Well, thank you so much for being on the call today, Ryan. We really appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for having me.